All right. Looks like we are live. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, we are back. And I'm going to give people a few moments to get in here. I'm going to share a window for my animation program. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Can I make it bigger? Yo, people are starting to show up. Yo, how's it going? Thanks for joining. Yeah, we're back again. So I wasn't streaming because I was having my ceiling redone. So everything had to get covered up. It was putting me out of my way. But now we are back, and the desk is just as messy as always. But yeah, no. So I'm returning to the Popeye project here, which I really haven't done. I haven't worked on much since my last stream. Super Banana Man, how you doing? So what I need to do is we filmed a whole bunch of different animations on a blue screen. And now I want to make a couple backdrops as well as a few set pieces to give some of those scenes a little bit of depth. Because the footage that we got was really good. Now I just need something to composite in to those areas. So like a sky backdrop I'm going to need. I have not done that yet. But physical assets like clay objects and what else? Yeah, stuff in the foreground, stuff in the background, just to give each shot a little bit more depth. That's what I want to work on a bit today. Also, at some point, I might extend my tripod fully and film top down. But yeah, actually, I'm going to turn on my work clock for a second. But yeah, so this live stream I think is really going to be mainly me just photographing stuff, building backdrops, photographing them, and moving on to the next thing. It's not going to be like filming the characters like last time. But yeah, so I'm going to show you what the first thing I'm going to work on is. I'm going to have to share a different window. Where is it? Put it somewhere. My desktop is so messy right now. I've got to clean it. Okay. So I'm going to show you. Actually, you know what? Let me just open up Adobe Premiere. I can just show you right there. I made this. How you doing? Good to have you back. It's good to be back. I was out of commission for a little bit while they were redoing my ceiling. So yeah, I'm just going to show you guys what I'm going to be working on today. Just bear with me. I'm going to turn off my volume. It's freaking me out. Stop sharing. I'm going to show you guys Adobe Premiere just so you all are aware of what's going on here. Okay. All right. So here is some of the footage that I took recently. This was not filmed on stream, but yeah, what I did was I took this footage of Popeye, and I'm going to just blank those out. Oh, there's the reference material. We don't need that. So what I did was I took this Popeye image. Can you see my mouse? Oh yeah. So this was filmed on a blue screen, and I put it into Adobe Premiere, and I made this 2D backdrop. I wonder if I could just show you the file. Anyway, I drew a 2D backdrop, and I just wanted to see how it would look. Just having a 2D illustration, adding a little bit of a lens flare fisheye effect, just to kind of give it the illusion of more three-dimensional space. And it's like, here's the thing. It certainly doesn't look bad. Like look at this. Just Go away. He's looking around. He's just chilling. Something's going to appear above his head. Like, I don't hate this. Like, this looks fine, but I don't love it. Like, the fact that it's a 2D, clearly a 2D backdrop, not photographed, it's just taking me out a bit too much. You know what I mean? James Nerdman, welcome back. Josiah, good to see you. You guys see what I mean about like the 2D backdrop, even with the Gaussian blur added and having a little lens flare effect added to the adjustment layer, it isn't the same as taking a real photograph, is what I'm trying to say. I can't draw for shit, but like just seeing, it's not really doing it for me. It does get the job done, but for me, it's just not really cutting it. I might keep it in, might not, but what I think I'm going to do in stream right now is just quickly throw together a backdrop using cardboard and clay, which I have right here. Take a picture of it. I have my Canon and my Rokinon lens here, and just like I feel like that is going to make me happier. I did this same process for Squid Bob Tentacle Pants for that shot where SpongeBob, his head turns into that monster when he comes out of the birthday present. And I really liked how that looked. So I think that we can get a similar thing. Once again, I don't hate this. It's just not really my thing. I think we can get a little bit more. I was working on this backdrop for like way too long. Once again, I cannot draw. Like for me, I feel like I'm just more competent taking pictures of stuff and lighting stuff than drawing. I'm sure I could get good if I practice more, but it's just, from my experience, I tend to like the photography stuff. I like the end result a bit better. So I do not need to move. There's not going to be any actual animation for this backdrop because we have Popeye in the foreground. I just want to get a still of something that looks really good. Something that I can composite in and maintain that sense of depth and that sense of like, oh yeah, this is stop motion. You know, I haven't come all this way just to throw in a 2D backdrop, you know? Oh no, I've seen the thing. Wait, actually, hold on a second. I'm going to show you. This is a sculpture that I like. I was working on this back in like 2021. Around the time that I was filming Brick Bob Films, Squilliam Returns, Frankendoodle, I actually made this statue using wax clay. If any of you guys have heard of monster clay, this was like the first thing that I made using monster clay. Yeah, James Nerdman, thanks for mentioning that. You see this right here? Hold on a second. I have lights. You can actually see like a picture of this on my website. Wish I can get it a bit closer. I don't want to disturb the cord connecting to my computer. That could be bad. You see this right here? It's funny how this very thing that I was working on based on the thing would end up finding a whole new life in that episode of Brick Bob Films. I gotta tell you right now that like, I don't know. I'm just going to hold on to this. I may finish it. I may not. I just had fun making it, and it's just been sitting in my closet ever since. But I'm thinking like sometime I'm definitely going to make a proper sculpture of that shot from Squid Bob Tentacle Pants where the face splits and just turn it into a sculpture, paint it, maybe airbrush it, add gloss to it, just turn it into a real work of art and just keep it in my room. I think I might do something like that because that could I really loved how that shot came out. And once again, that was a shot utilizing the whole technique of oh yeah, film a subject on a blue screen and then just composite in the backdrop using these tools that I have. Yeah, I made this. So you in the chat over there, the intention was to make a mold of this and cast it because at the time, during COVID, I learned how to make molds and casts. It's just the thing is the silicone is pretty expensive, at least the brand that I was using. Oh boy, stuff is falling. And after a while, I just kind of, it was cool learning how to do the casting and molding. I'm really glad I learned how to do that. So this piece right here, I also did. This is a cast. Wait, hold on a second. Wait, it's a Popeye stream, but I am talking about other pieces. But that's fine. I like interacting with you guys. So this is another cast. Actually, I have the original. I have the original in my room, right behind me. But yeah, this was another piece that I made around the same time. This was with a different clay. The reason that I did not end up making casts into mold of the Thing sculpture is one, the silicone is pretty expensive, and two, I didn't think I would be able to really sell any. And even if I did, because that was a very big sculpture, it would require a lot of resin, a lot. So the cost of materials would be relatively quite high. And it's I could just make one for myself, but I was never motivated enough to go through all the trouble just to cast one for myself. And it's a shame because the sculpture came out really good, but I'm holding on to it just in case I ever change my mind. Hey, how you doing, Lethal Lord? Yeah, so you guys might notice that the audio sounds a little bit different. I'm using my shotgun microphone right now because in my previous stream, I noticed that there wasn't anything wrong with my microphone, but my microphone was picking up my air conditioner and it was just creating this horrendous white noise. It sounded so bad. I work in a basement at my other studio and there's all these machines that that whir and beep. It's right next to a boiling unit. That thing is so loud, and listening to the playback for my previous stream sounds like I'm there. That's how bad it is. And it's just an air conditioner. But yeah, the microphone doesn't make a difference. I have my air conditioner off right now. So that's why I'm wearing tank top. But yeah, so there was the Thing sculpture, which I never made a cast for. Then there was this blob piece, which I did make a cast for, obviously, or a mold for, rather. And I was selling these. I think this is the only one I have left. And then, of course, what else do I have? Then there was this Gygus piece that I was selling. Oh my gosh, I must have sold almost 30 of these. But yeah, these were completely handmade. So this was hold on a second. So yeah, I made this. So that's the name of someone in the chat. For those of you who don't know, uh, so this was a piece that I did end up making a mold of and casting. This was sculpted using monster clay as well, and it is way smaller by volume. And there was demand for this because like people were seeing it on Twitter and really wanted it. So I was selling these. There's only a couple of these left that haven't been sold. I'm not in a rush to sell them, but I just have them. I'm probably going to keep one for myself though, because I really like how this piece came out, and the Earthbound Mother 2 community, or Mother community rather, just really like this. I sold this to a bunch of fans, and yeah, it was good. No, I love this piece. And I actually have another Mother 2 base sculpture there, which I'll show you in just a sec. I actually sold a couple of these like recently, like a few months ago. So, you know, there's some demand, but I'm not like holding my breath making more. Yeah, I think I really got a lot from the casting and molding experience during COVID. And like, you know, I think I made some really good work, or decent work for a beginner at the time, but it is very messy. It is so messy doing this. The materials are expensive. It's very messy. You need a place to work. You need equipment. You need a compressor. You should be using oh my gosh, like a pressure chamber, a degassing chamber. Those are two different pieces of equipment. I could not fit all of it in my room. I actually have the stuff at my other studio. And yeah. And then you have to paint the stuff. It's a lot of work. It's it does have a lot of carryover into stop motion and puppet making, but I haven't really used it yet. Yeah, I made this pressure pot. Yeah, I have a degassing chamber in my closet, which is smaller, but the pressure pot is so big. And I just like, I don't know. I did it for a bit. I was enthusiastic about making and designing sculptures and selling them to people. But, you know, I was making stuff based on video games. They're not really characters that I like own. And not only that, but I had always worked in digital media, making animations. And, you know, those digital assets, those properties, like those can be sold and enjoyed, or they could be viewed and enjoyed by anybody, and I would get the advertiser revenue. But for something like selling physical products, you're going to need overhead, you're going to need materials, you're going to have to ship all of them, you're going to need like a return address, you're going to have to follow up, make sure nothing went wrong. I've sold hundreds of things, like I'm not kidding. I've sold hundreds of things online, stuff on eBay, but also just stuff that I've made. And it's, you know, there's a lot more friction between you and getting some money. You know what I mean? Like, this is a lot of work, but at least I'm creating something that's digital and something that can be distributed way more easily with a lot less overhead. So this is kind of just what I came back to, but definitely had fun doing it at the time. Not saying I wouldn't do it again, but, you know, I'm especially curious, like, Guys Phoenix, how you doing? No, you're good. Thanks for showing up, man. But like, yeah, just, what was I even talking about? Yeah, it's like, I remember I deliberately, like, I thought, okay, if I were making pieces and selling them, I feel like it would just be it would make more sense to do it digitally, like designing and sculpting a piece digitally, 3D printing it and selling it that way. 3D printing does not look as good as casting and molding. Those I've seen a lot of 3D printed pieces. They don't compare to the handmade stuff. I just think it's like, okay, this is another tool I'm going to have in my back pocket. And if I want to lean into it, okay. But I ended up just kind of gravitating more towards animation. Yeah, I made this. The pressure, oh, the compressor, not the pressure chamber. Yeah, I've gotten more comfortable with the compressor because I use it for airbrushing as well. But the pressure pot, that thing makes me nervous. I know it has like safety guards and stuff like that. Even the pressure, like, or the compressor and the degassing chamber they both have like safety guards and stuff like that. But oh, just I get really nervous when using the pressure pot. Just giant. This thing's like a giant tank. I don't want to. It really freaks me out. I'm not working with it on a regular basis for this animation stuff. Yeah, Lethal Lord. The sculpting, I mean, I want to do more sculpting. I want to sculpt on stream like this. Remember my first few streams, I would wonder if I should get rid of my window. I'll just leave it. So in my first few streams, I was just sitting at my table, just sculpting characters for this upcoming animation. I want to do that, but just making like statuettes. I have a whole bunch of clay in my closet that I just haven't gotten around to using. And would you guys like to see me just like sculpting, like making a little piece at my desk? I'm like, ever since I've started streaming, I think this is stream, what, number 7? Ever since I've started streaming, I'm like, shoot, it's like opened up a whole lot of like possibilities for what else I could stream, First few streams, I was sculpting pieces or puppets for the animation. Then the next few streams, I was actually animating. So it's like, yeah, the never say never. There's a lot of skills I use for this type of work. And the idea of like figuring out how this could work for a stream, I think that excites me. But I think I got to get ready working on this. Yes. All right. So I had this cardboard which I was going to paint for this backdrop. But I like just got 2 big boxes at the front door. Like, because I ordered a whole bunch of mouthwashes from CVS. Your boy's wicked hygienic. So I have a whole bunch of cardboard, all the cardboard I want. Wow. I made this. No, I haven't seen that. That sounds crazy. I'd be curious to look into that. I'll have to check that out. That's crazy. Making a claymation film in 24 hours. So actually, it's funny that you bring that up because what's happening right now is there's going to be, like, near where I live, there's like this like 48-hour film festival thing happening where it's pretty self-explanatory, make a film in 48 hours. And I was like, So I went to it. I went to the film festival last year, and it was fun. But I was thinking of like, what if I did it this year and just streamed myself working on something? I mean, I would be pretty frantic, of course. But what would you guys think if I tried to make a clay animation or stop motion in 48 hours and found some way to document it here on this channel? Would that sound fun to you guys? Because like making the film, I think would be like a lot of fun and a really big learning experience, because I just like, I've made so many projects, but the idea of just seeing what I make under such stress, under all of those pressure, like seeing what would come out under pressure, because it's like a creative stress test, you know? It's like, okay, what kind of decision making happens when I am under such pressure, when I'm under so much constraint? What little decisions have to take place in order for a finished project to get made within 48 hours? That's what I was thinking. And I've seen what I can do in a relatively short amount of time. I've seen what I can do in 5 hours. I've seen what I can do in 16 hours. I made like a whole episode of Brick Bob Films last year in like cumulatively, I think it was 16 hours. Rise and shine. Shorter episode, but I did it. And that was edited. No picnic. Yeah, that sound fun to you guys? Like, oh, the stream's not available? Shoot. Dang. Well, you know what? It's nice to hear that someone else was like streaming their animation process. I'm going to cut this up. Wait, do I have to cut this up? Oh, I don't think I have to. Yeah, so I made this, there was, I'm just going to call you I, for example. So there was, for the film festival project, for that festival, I think they'll give you a prompt or something like that. They'll give you something that you have to do. I think you have to pick a genre, you have to pick a certain prompt. There's something that they give you certain conditions, certain things that you have to hit just to, I guess it's like another measure to make sure that you actually made the movie within 48 hours, which is fine with me. It's totally cool. But yeah, like I mentioned before, like just kind of seeing what would happen, like what decisions would get made if like this film needs to get done in 48 hours. I would be curious to see what would happen. James, thanks for saying that. Yeah, it's like, you know, I think we get so fixated on trying to make the project, the big defining project all the time. And it's easy to forget that like you fall in love with a project after you've completed it. It doesn't matter how long you worked on it, how special or not special it was in your head. Once it's done and finished and you can view it, then you can really fall in love with it. You know? Hold on a second. Oh, but these are my blue screens. It's really cool, but once that thing opens up, it's really difficult to get it shut. Need a bigger brush. Yeah, so what I think I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna do a clay wall. I'm gonna like do what I did with Beavis and Butthead, where I'm just gonna paint a slab of cardboard. It can look like trash. It doesn't have to look pretty. I want this to be like done on stream. I don't want to have to be so concerned with like making a beautiful backdrop. Like, no. Hey Tim, how you doing? Welcome back. Good to see you again. Yeah, Tim, that's very true. I think especially for professional work, freelance, client work, whatever, having enough time to do the job right and do it well is extremely important. You do not want to have to do client work in 48 hours. Like, for instance, as an extreme example, you don't want to do that. You want to have the time. But that's what's unique about this, like, this 48-hour film festival idea is like, it's just what's the complete inverse of putting all the time and care and attention into a project gonna look like? Anyway, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. I'm not gonna commit to it one way or another. I'm just racking my brain about it right now. Yeah, actually, I have the puppets from the Beavis and Butthead clay animation in my closet. If I like get bored one day, maybe I'll convert them into statues. So like after I completed my Jasper and a Jam clay animation, how many of you guys remember that? I made that in like 2017. You know what? I'm actually going to stop sharing my window for a bit because there's no information there that you guys really need to see. I'm just going to paint quick. But yeah, the totem pole in that animation was sculpted from hard clay, like super sculpey. Actually, this kind of clay, super sculpey. And when it was done, I just converted the puppet into a statue and put it on the shelf. Yes, that's what we want. We love Craft Smart paint. It's so cheap and it dries so quick. I mean, James, yeah, in terms of the way that it's handled, sure, but they serve to do different things. It's really just, it has to be something that does not dry out. Yeah, so Geist Phoenix. So I've actually recently, since I've started just streaming and such, it's gotten me thinking a lot about possibilities of like, what if I did some kind of like a brick bob, like streamed myself, excuse me. There is a distinction. Stream myself making an episode of Brick Bob Films. Because the thing that has been going on with Brick Bob Films is just like, I'm trying to think of how to word this. When I started that channel, I could get on with just making the episodes of Brick Bob Films, and that would be it. You know, I would put them out. The production process was pretty short. I could make an episode in a day. It would go up and it would get a lot of views and, you know, make some good money. So it could fund future projects, future episodes. But now, especially after last year, the Brick Bob Films 2025 season, it's just the episodes take longer to make than ever. Oh my gosh, like maybe like 40 hours. Some of them took 40 hours or more. But yeah, it's like the production for an episode of Brick Bob Films is as long as it's ever been. And the episodes didn't do poorly last season, but they didn't do well enough to like make it super viable to just keep making episodes of Brick Bob Films. So what it's kind of gotten me thinking is like, okay, I need to find some way to make this work. Because I do want to keep making episodes of Brick Bob Films. Like, I don't want to stop doing that. I already have, like, I got a voice actor to record lines for another big, like, spectacular clay animation Lego hybrid episode. Like, I was all set to do more, but it's just been so difficult to justify it because the work to output ratio for making an episode of Brick Bob Films is so brutal that it's kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, shoot, if it's going to be that brutal anyway, and if the episodes like if they're not making as much views from advertiser revenue anyway, I might as well just work on other projects. But that's where streaming comes in. So I was thinking, if I were to continue doing streams like this, and what if I did a thing where I rallied up all the viewers on Brick Bob Films and said like, hey, I'm doing streams here now. You guys can all be involved in the day-to-day process, like seeing an episode of Brick Bob Films get made in real time. I think that could be really cool. So that was one of the reasons like why, you know, I'm still streaming right now, why I'm continuing to do it. Because especially nowadays, it can't just, especially for something like animation, where, as I mentioned before, the work to output ratio for animation is just so much. It's enormous. That's not really designed for modern YouTube. If you can make that work, great. And there probably are some channels out there that do make it work, but that wasn't the way that I started. So I think that in order for Brick Bob Films, in order for me to continue doing that, I've got to find some way to not just make Brick Bob Films be about me publishing an episode that had, you know, 15-minute long video, 60 plus hours gone into making it. It can't just be about that. It has to be, I think it has to evolve. It has to be about like, this is how this film got made. You guys made it happen. You guys can watch me make this film. You know what I mean? Yeah, Tim Fritz. So it's like, I've been thinking like, okay, so what if like, and this could be just like a good way to just spread some awareness about these streams, is just mentioning on Brick Bob Films, because it's like, as I've mentioned before, it's just been so brutal uh, continuing a sustainable production for Brick Bob Films, because the I'm not saying that I need more views or something like that. I don't have any control over that. All I can do is make sure that I'm making the best possible product on Brick Bob Films as possible. But in the meantime, I've got to figure out ways to get everyone more involved, not just in the video. I want the episode of Brick Bob Films to feel like an event. You know what I mean? That should be like the finish line, not the entire, the whole thing. Because there are ideas that I have for Brick Bob Films, which like there are episodes that I want to make. Like I have the resources to make them. I have a really fun vision for them. Certain episodes that I just have always wanted to make, and I think they would translate really, really, really well into my new format. I really want to make them. So I think in order to do that, I am going to have to evolve the production process. It can't just be about me just publishing the animation anymore. It has to be something like this, something collaborative. I'm not delaying anything. I haven't announced it, so it's just kind of like in the back of my head. Plus, I've been meaning to like get this Popeye project done. So you know what? It's like, I'll make the episode. I will make another episode when the time is right. And that's just like, that's how it always goes for my projects. You know what I mean? Like this, like I delay, I guess you could say that I have a bunch of projects that are in my head that just don't get made until the right opportunity arises. And in the case of this project, it was, okay, I'm done working on other things. I haven't started like a huge animation project this year. Let's get this done. I know that the host of this collaboration wants to get this out by like Halloween. So just get it done now, early summer, move on to the next thing. You always just kind of have to wait for the right push. But I've said this before in the past, whenever I'm working on a new project, I always want to find some way to push boundaries and get out of my comfort zone, do something new that I've never done before. And in the case of this Popeye project, this is only like 45 seconds. This is a scene in a way bigger collaboration. The main thing for this project was I said, all right, I'm going to stream me working on this because I got to do something to just shake it up, Get more personality in it, Very wise, James. Thank you very much for that advice. Also, for any of you Brick Bob Films fans out there, I'm wondering if I've talked about this in stream before. You guys may have noticed that episode, Wet Painters, got deleted from my channel. And I got in contact with YouTube and everything on Twitter. I was certain that it was a fluke, maybe YouTube's AI messed up or something like that. But I swear they wrote back to me and said, yeah, that video violated our policies. So they kept it down. And I think some fans actually re-uploaded it, maybe a couple. But yeah, that episode legit got taken down from the channel. That was the one episode, the one video on that entire channel that got deleted, and I got a strike on the channel. I'm not kidding. I got a strike on Brick Bob Films for that video. I was blown away. And of course, YouTube didn't specifically say what was the offending part of the video, because by all means, it was just another episode of Brick Bob Films, one of over 100. To this day, I have no idea why that video stayed down. I really do not know. But that's just how it always goes. It was just the most bizarre thing. It's very weird. Yeah, when did I start YouTube? In my 13 years on YouTube, only twice have I ever gotten a channel strike, and that was one of them. It was the most bizarre thing. The other time that I got a strike was well warranted. I uploaded copyrighted material onto this channel. It was like a really old Jasper cartoon from oh my God, 1942. I found a really old copy of it, and I downloaded it, and it got deleted from YouTube. And I was like, shoot, this is a really interesting piece of animation history. So I just uploaded it onto my channel, and it got taken down because the copyright owner filed a complaint, which is fair. I do not, I don't have any problem with that. And my channel still exists. So, it's fair. But the Brick Bob Films one, that was the most bizarre thing. To this day, I legit could not tell you what particular part of that video violated YouTube's policies, but anyway. But we're here, still trudging along. I'm wondering how this would look airbrushed. The most annoying part about this backdrop is the lettering. But you know what? I think it'll work. Oh my gosh. Straw? Wait, Straw, are you still here? Because I actually remember you. I spoke to you a really long time ago. A really, really long time ago. 2019. I vividly remember your profile image and your face. Oh my God. You see, this is what's so funny about these streams. I never know who's going to show up. Seeing who is showing up is so it's so delightfully unexpected. Straw, it's good to see you again. Thank you so much for that again, by the way. Also, I noticed that we have 10 people in here. If you guys could all do me a favor, if you could drop a like, that would be awesome. Really appreciate that. But yeah, no, it's Straw over here. He helped me translate some, what was it, German material from a Clay Kremling episode. Sven Baumwallen, I think is how you say his name. I don't speak German. But oh my gosh, that was so long ago. Yeah, James, I legit have no clue. To this day, I have no clue why they took it down. They did respond to me on Twitter, and they were like, after reviewing the offending video, we've determined that the takedown was accurate. That was what they said, to my recollection. That never got any additional information. Once they said that, I was like, okay, well, this is as close as you can get to like live support. Reach out to them on Twitter. Not really sure how much I need to paint, like how high up, because I am going to be taking photos with my Rokinon lens. I might need to just do these edges just a little bit. Just get a little bit more. I can't believe straws here. That's amazing. That's amazing. You qualify for a veterans discount. That's the funniest thing about this channel is if like this channel has gone through so many phases. There was the era when I first made this channel when I was like, oh my gosh, 14, I think it was 14. And I posted some like Lego animations, action, shooting, things blowing up. I eventually took them down, but actually just recently I re-uploaded them. If you guys go over to my channel, you'll find an old playlist that says like lost animations or something like that. But don't leave the stream now because I love having you here, but check it out later. I have spoken with it. I have spoken about it with some viewers in my streams who all brought it up. And I was just like, I was blown away. I was like, how do people remember this? So I was inspired to just go through my hard drive and find them and re-upload them to this channel. So yeah, now they're all in an unlisted playlist. Well, the videos are unlisted, but the playlist is public. So you guys can watch them if you want. And yeah, after that, there was the Clay Kremling era, of course. There was a period of time where it was like, I announced Clay Kremling, but I was still working on Brick Bob Films. And then I was like developing the idea for Clay Kremling and like testing out some episodes. And, it was just another like weird experimental age, kind of like this for the longest time has been like a dump channel, just me experimenting. Oh, I got this idea to make this and it doesn't fit the Brick Bob Films channel theme. Oh, I'm going to put it here. But the more stuff that I make here consistently, the more I get an idea of what I want this channel to be. Animation is still absolutely there, but specifically emphasizing the community and making the animations, Position cards, yes. Oh my gosh. Clay Kremling episode 2 and 3. That's Beetlebug and Jurassic Park 3 Dino Defender. Yes, I remember that too. We emailed, I'm pretty sure. I think you reached out to me in the comments or something, but I think we did email. We did something. Clay Kremling just fascinates me. Like once again, what I was talking about before, that like, because this channel had so many different like weird eras, I'll get people tuning in and saying, hey, I remember when you did this or that. And I'm just like, oh my God. What are you still doing here? I mean, I'm so happy to have you, but like, oh my gosh, this channel's just done, like, it's been through so many different phases. I'm like amazed that you guys still just show up and you're like, hey, how's it going? I love that. But I am hoping to kind of build a more sustainable upload theme, like channel theme, stuff that you guys can subscribe to the channel and know what you're subscribing to. You know what I mean? Buck Brothers, welcome back. Good to see you. Yeah, oh my gosh, Tim. Yeah, I remember making that goodbye video on Brick Bob Films in like, gosh, it was like November 2016. Gosh, it feels so long ago. But yeah, no, I was really serious at the time of like, yeah, I really don't want to do these anymore. But over the years, I just realized the more projects I would work on that was not Brick Bob Films, the more I would just collect different skills and get really excited about it. And I would think, hold on, I got paint on my hands. And I would just think like, dang, this would look so good in Brick Bob Films. Like, I wonder what I could do with this in Brick Bob Films. Oh yeah, Straw, you're right. I did make a call out for help. I must have said something like, "Oh, if anyone speaks German, hit me up." Oh my gosh. Yeah, clay crumbling, such a bizarre chapter. Very bizarre chapter in my creator journey. It was a very weird idea with localized interest. Wait, actually, you know what? I'm gonna turn on the screen for my project. There we go. I actually have my curtain open right now because I'm not actively taking pictures, but anyway. As I was saying, it was such a like a localized niche. You know, I was watching like Angry Video Game Nerds at the time. Cat Icarus was another one that I really liked. I love that man's accent, and I loved his personality. He was so funny. And I like the games that he would talk about. But yeah, no, Angry Video Game Nerd and Cat Icarus, and I'm trying to think, there must have been other ones that I watched. You know, other nerdy commentator type people. But yeah, I was watching a lot of that growing up, and I was like, shoot, this is what I want to do for a living. I want to talk about video games on YouTube from my childhood, just like these guys. But when I look back on the whole show being what it was, I always just kind of like, I say to myself, man, I'm so glad I got that out of my system, you know? Did it take off? No, it didn't. But no one can ever say that I didn't do it. You know what I mean? Yo, we're at a dozen viewers concurrent. How you guys doing, everyone? It's good to have you here. Remember to drop a like. Let's hit 10 likes. Oh God, it's freaking clean. Yeah, we need to expose this quite a bit. Shoot. Straw, whatever happened with Clay Kremling, I just want you to know, just remember that you took part in Clay Kremling history. Remember that. There are not many people on this earth that can say that. Very few, in fact. And you are one of them. So just give yourself a pat on the back there. Because you were on the ground floor, you know? But yeah, like with the pile. You are going in the Clay Kremling horde. I unfortunately do not have one in my room, a real life-size Clay Kremling horde. But if I did have one, I would call you over here and toss you in myself. Gently, though. I don't want to sound violent. the pile. Yeah, that was like another thing about Clay Kremling that I was like trying to make into like a regular thing. Like, oh yeah, he reviews the game, and if it's liked or if it's as good as he remembered, it's going to be immortalized in this pile on the desk. Actually, the funny thing is, the desk that I filmed Clay Kremling on is actually right here. It was at my other studio for a bit, but because I opened up another corner in my room, it's back now. It's right over there. It's not this desk. Yeah, I think this is probably just going to make this image as clear as possible. And then I can just add a blur in post if I wanted. Also, I have to get this out of the way. Yeah, you know, Tim, that was like another thing about Clay Kremling, that Clay Kremling was tested a lot in terms of how, I guess, devoted I was to it, regardless of the money. Like, I never made money from Clay Kremling, but I was devoted to it for a while. But a huge problem down the line was like for Clay Kremling, I had all these ideas of, oh, I'm going to make an episode where Clay Kremling goes to space and reviews the Chicken Invader series. I don't know if any of you guys have played Chicken Invaders. It's basically like Moorhun if Moorhun was good. Sorry to you diehard Moorhun fans. Didn't mean to do you guys like that. Wait, actually, hold on a second. I know that somewhere I have a Moorhun statue. I am definitely saying his name wrong because, you know, Americans, it's what we do. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I have a big Moorhun statue somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I do have this. Look at that guy. Hold on a second. Shoot. Look at that man. There he is. In the flesh. Oh, dude. I remember there was a Moorhun bobblehead that I like really, really, really wanted. And I could never find it on eBay. I couldn't find it on the internet, period. Yeah, I don't know where the bigger Moorhun figurine is, but yeah, there was this bobblehead that I really wanted, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I was so angry. All right, wait. I'm gonna raise the desk a bit. Oh wait, no, I actually don't want to do that. God. But yeah, like I was saying, it's just that uh, Clay Kremling, like I had all these ambitious ideas for it, utilizing the clay animation format, the fact that he's a clay animation character. You know, I sent him to a farm and made him interact with farm animals for the Super Cow review, and I had him perform a ritual for the Zuma King for the Zuma Deluxe review. Like there were episodes. Oh yeah, and he also went to the Teddy's Island from Conker's Bad Fur Day and fought Professor Von Krippelsback. I think that's his name. So yeah, like there were episodes of Clay Kremling that I think really used and took advantage of the clay animation format and putting him in those like larger than life scenarios and having special effects and bringing in other characters. Like there were episodes that did that, but obviously I couldn't do it all the time because those took a long time to make. So I would often end up just doing regular episodes of Clay Kremling where he's, you know, standing on the desk, talking in front of a black wall. And it was just like, you know, that's mainly commentary. And then eventually it just became very, very cumbersome. It was like, shoot, well, I can't make every single episode be an event. Like there has to be normal episodes. That's what I thought at the time, at least. But even the normal episodes of Clay Kremling were very cumbersome to make because every single time he was on screen, he had to be filmed. And I remember just thinking like, God, this is really like, this kind of sucks because I'm just animating him talking and he doesn't even have mouth animations. You know what I mean? No, that was a really big problem with Clay Kremling, that like, I realized I kind of cornered myself into animating this guy talking in more or less the same setting every single episode, you know, with very little variation. Maybe another character would show up every once in a while, stuff like that. Maybe goofy stuff would happen. But yeah, it was just like, it really boiled down to like, oh yeah, I'm just animating this guy moving his arms, hitting poses, moving his head. And I was just like, shoot, this is like it got to the point where for a lot of episodes of Clay Kremling, I would try and write the episode where I would deliberately film him as little as possible because it was just that time consuming. I don't remember how many frames per second I would film him at. I'm guessing it was 15. It was probably 15. Yeah, Straw, it was a labor of love. Labor being the operative word. Absolutely. Straw, I can't believe you're here. It's so good to have you. It's good to have all of you here. Like I was saying before, doing these streams, I've been quite surprised with the turnout that we've had so far, and it's been great. I love you all to death. Yo, Barry Blue Boy, how you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, so Buck Brothers, I'm part of a Reanimated collab based on a Popeye cartoon. It's being hosted by the same guy that hosted the excuse me. It's hosted by the same guy that did that other Popeye collab. But I wasn't a part of that one. I haven't done a Reanimated collab in God, such a long time. So this is pretty unusual. The last time I did a Reanimated collab was probably like 2019, I think. Gosh, the time just flies. But yeah, I was contacted by the host who was looking for an animator to fill a scene. And I was like, yeah, this looks like it could be fun. Nevertheless, it's a lot of work. I've put over 30 hours into this shot so far. Let's just see how this looks, because I've been going for over an hour now and I still haven't taken a picture. Want to make sure I'm bringing out that texture and stuff. And I'm also going to add other things into the backdrop just to keep the scene from looking too barren. But yeah, this is one sec. Yeah, this is probably going to be my last Reanimated collab. So what's really cool about this one is you're able to take so much creative liberty with your scene. The idea is that you're making your scene more than the original, than what was like in the original audio. You know what I mean? I don't know how familiar you are with Reanimated collabs, but they were a lot of fun. And they were trending for quite a while. Granted, I don't know if they're still happening all the time. So actually, I haven't mentioned this on stream yet, but there was a Donkey Kong Country TV show Reanimated collab that I was a part of as well. And it ended up never getting made. Like, I don't know, for one reason or another, it just didn't come out. I think it's still technically supposed to come out, but one thing led to another, and my scene ended up getting cut from the collab, which is ironic because it was like the first. I did an animation of King K. Rool, a clay animation of King K. Rool, which I love so much because I remember I always wanted to have Clay Kremling meet King K. Rool in an episode of Clay Kremling, because King K. Rool is the king of the Kremlings. So I always wanted to do that, which never happened, obviously. But it was just like, it was so much fun doing a clay King K. Rool. But then the animation didn't come out. But then last year, I was contacted by a guy who's actually taking the scenes that were cut and making a new Reanimated collab using those scenes. So it looks like my clay King K. Rool will see the light of day yet in a big collab. I need to get a second. Yeah, the animation itself is on this channel, the King K. Rool, the clay King K. Rool. But yeah, the official project just never came out. So yeah, the guy reached out to me asking if he could use my scene for his project. And then just, as soon as I verified that like it was a legitimate, person doing it, I was like, yeah, go. So I guess you could say that I'm now going to be part of 2 Reanimated collabs coming up soon. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Oh, well. I'm just trying to think what I could do here to make it look a little more homey. Yeah, Straw, they were a lot of fun, and just big collab, lots of different talent from different corners of the internet. Yeah, they were a lot of fun. And I knew several people that were hosting them. And at one point, like, I was thinking, like I played around with the idea of hosting my own Reanimated collab, but I never seriously considered it because, oh, gosh, it looks like a lot of work coordinating one of those collabs. A lot. Yeah, the people that manage those collabs, like, I don't know how they do it. Like, more power to them. They're doing crazy work, all for the art of animation and collaborating with people online. Hey, Lulu B, happy birthday. Welcome. Yeah, one of the reasons that I joined this Popeye collab was because the fidelity of the scenes, the talent in this project appears to be really, really good. The best that I think I've ever seen in a Reanimated collab. So that also drew me to it. Burger Motion, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Oh my God, we got a bunch of concurrent viewers. Everyone, remember to drop a like. Thanks for joining. Yeah, we're having a whole bunch of conversation here, getting ready to take some stills. Yeah, I'm just having a good time, just talking with you guys. It's like, just spending time with people while I work. Admittedly, like, I do enjoy the loneliness of working on an animation project. Like, I do enjoy it. I feel like that's kind of a requirement if you want to do animation, but the collaboration is something that I've always wanted to incorporate into my projects more. And getting to talk to you guys in real time is just like, it's been a blast. Like, I've just, it's just like, just talking to you guys. Like, I've mentioned this before, I've been surprised. So surprised on who pulls up. And it's just like, like we have someone in here right now who like helped me translate some old material from a Clay Kremling video that I made when I was like 17 in 2019. I'm gonna keep the camera on. Yeah, well, Straw, like it's the amount of focus that I can get when I'm like doing it alone, turn on a movie, a YouTube video, listen to it in the background while working. What I'm doing right now is I'm working with the clay a little bit to just kind of throw into the foreground here. Just kind of fill out the scene a bit. But yeah, the amount of focus, I really enjoy that part. But like I mentioned before, the work to output ratio, especially for something like modern YouTube, is so brutal. You can't. I don't know how you can make it work. Like, I don't know how people make it work. Maybe if you have like explosive success, but even then, there are channels that will get like a bunch of views. Smaller channels, they'll get like a ton of views on an animation, but it's like, how are you supposed to follow that up? You can't. It's great that you got views, but it's just like, yeah. So especially for like in the age of AI generation, I think that it's not just enough to emphasize, oh, work with, you don't want, you want real animation because it was actually crafted by people. It looks better. The animation is crafted better. The animation is fundamentally more informed and has more ingenuity than something that's AI generated. And it's like, yeah, but like for me, I don't know if I can convince people that, oh yeah, this is just you should watch my animation and not watch anything that's AI generation simply because my work is handmade. It's like, no, I also want to reinforce the the fact that my stuff is handmade through content like this, like live streams, where I can sit in a stream with my viewers and talk in real time. And you guys are just like, asking questions, showing up. There's history here in the making. Yeah, I always like, even when I was working on the the Clay Fighter musical, I recorded like a bunch of behind the scenes footage of like just me sitting in the basement talking into the camera, saying what I was doing. But I didn't know what I would do with that footage. Like, I actually deleted a bunch of it because it was just taking up so much space on my hard drive. I did keep a few shots. Maybe I'll put them on my Patreon. Maybe. I don't know. But it was essentially like this, like me talking unfiltered, unedited, directly to my audience in the middle of a project. Except that footage never saw the light of day because, it's modern standards for content. It's like, more polished. So this, I think, suits the streaming format better. And this is funny because I never watch streams, never. But I did grow up watching like unscripted content. So, what's the difference really, right? Hey, Burger Motion, I can answer your question if you're still here. Sorry, I was kind of on a tangent. Don't know if you're here or not, but I'm just going to answer it anyway. So I started making brick films when, oh my gosh, I wasn't even 10 years old, but I started uploading them to YouTube when I was 11. And YouTube was very different at the time, less corporate, less like mass production channels. It was still like, I believe they were still using the same, like, the broadcast yourself motto. And it was just those old animations that I made when I was a kid, that kind of content could flourish on old YouTube better. I'm not going to say definitively that it can't anymore, but really it was just about being in the right place at the right time. I was making my animations consistently and I was uploading them online and people were watching them. But the key word there is consistency. So my channel wouldn't have grown, Brick Bob Films would not have grown that much, I don't think, had it not been for the consistency. The consistency was a driving factor. That was my experience. But also take it with a grain of salt because YouTube was way different in 2013 than it is today. That's not to say that you can't get recognized today, but it's the rules are a bit different, which is like what I've been talking about, how the work to output ratio is very disproportionate for modern YouTube. I mean, I was making animations and publishing them once a week, which is a lot for animation in 2013, but I don't do that anymore. And I'm still trying to figure out how to make the animation angle more adapted to YouTube as it is today, which has forced me to get out of my comfort zone, for instance, streaming. To answer your question. Yeah, so Guys Phoenix, this is going to be like a horror animation. So the main theme for this reanimated collab is horror. You're supposed to make your scene more terrifying and preferably reference like a movie of some sort. So I don't you've been in previous streams. I've seen you here before. So oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. There was like there was the previous streams that I was doing, the content, the material that I was filming was pretty gruesome, you might recall. Granted, you'll see it in the final animation. But yeah, I don't have him eating spinach. It's he's pretty distressed and distraught in the animation that I'm making. There are, oh my gosh, in the reanimated collab though, like I've seen in the Discord server, there are some really funny uses of spinach in some of the shots, like really, really, really funny ones. I love it. What I love about this project is it manages to be funny and scary at the same time. So when you see the final project, you'll know. You'll know what I'm talking about. But you will not be disappointed. I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed by this reanimated collab. Yeah, Straw, it is very, very difficult to keep up, I guess you could say, with how much YouTube has changed. I still think that, YouTube is a really great platform, and I want to keep working at it. I want to keep figuring out, this is YouTube has what? It's one of the biggest platforms, more traffic than any other streaming platform in the world. Hey, James, it was really good having you here. You have a good night. Hope to see you again soon. So like I was saying, yeah, YouTube, it has more traffic than like any other platform, video hosting platform. And I'm really curious to see how can I find, there has to be some way that the animation, my animation or anyone else's, I can't speak for anyone else, but I want to see if there's some way where I can find a spot for my animation projects to thrive on modern YouTube. I don't think that that's going to happen just putting out animations, unless I just got, hit the algorithm just right. Like, there are animators out there who I've seen get a whole bunch of views talking about like internet celebrities, like parodying them, parodying movies, parodying video games, whatever's popular. But I'm just not I'm not really interested in doing that. Also, it's just the amount of work that goes into an animation. For all I know, by the time I finish, people will have moved on to the next thing. So I'm not really interested in trying to chase trends and keep up with all the latest trends, the latest Twitter drama here and there. I admittedly do avoid using social media as much as I can. I use it to post. Other than that, I try to avoid it. I think it's a pretty big time waster. It's not really good for our brains. And that's a shame because there is some genuinely really great creations on social media. There's some really good talent out there. But for me, I find that the benefits, like the pros of not using social media definitely outweigh the cons. And even then, that's not to say that I'm not addicted to my phone. I think we are all addicted to our phones to some extent. That's the world that we are in today. And I would ideally like to use my phone less and less. I think that the phone is a tool. It can absolutely be used for bad, but it can also be used for good. And that's something that I want to emphasize with my animation. Like what I'm doing here is media production, I'm producing media. And the means to make an animation like this, the tools are entirely in my possession. And that's something that my heroes didn't have when they were starting out. Digital media was it just revolutionized so much. Had it not been for digital media, I mean, maybe I would have gotten into media production. Maybe I would have gotten into animation. But I certainly would not have gotten into it as early as I did and done it distributed the media at the scale that I did when I was a kid with Brick Bob Films. I owe all of that to these tools, and I'm really excited and curious to see how I can adapt and evolve with it. How you doing, Inkspot? Good to have you back. Yeah, we've been going for over an hour and a half. We've been having a blast. People have been coming in and out. We've had a whole bunch of concurrent viewers. But yeah, preparing to film a shot, just working with the clay. You were worried about me. Don't worry. I was not gone very long. I did leave a couple updates. One for my ceiling being worked on, and the other for the streaming schedule, which was posted in the post section of my channel. You can see them there. I don't know if people get notified for them. I don't think so. But yeah, no, I've been around. I was displaced when my ceiling was being worked on. I couldn't work on Popeye. But yeah, no, I'm back, hoping to get this animation done soon. Like, I'm not in a huge rush. Like, even right now, I'm just like, I have plenty of time before the project is even due. The host is trying to get it done October, in time for Halloween. Maybe that'll happen, maybe not, but I would like to get my scene done so I can move on to other projects. But yeah, I was talking about with other attendees in the stream about like maybe doing a Brick Bob Films live stream, just streaming myself filming Brick Bob Films. And also way earlier in the stream, we were talking about making, like, there's a 48-hour film festival happening coming up soon. I was like, what if I tried to do an animation for that? And what if I stream myself working on it? That would be some crazy multitasking because I would have to lock in. I'm going to be real with you guys. Like I did think about like, what if I stream this? And I was like, because the gonna have to be super focused. And when you're really focused, you don't talk a lot. But anyway. Yeah, Inkspot. I want to study 3D animation, hopefully sometime this year, sometime soon. But the stop motion I'm just sticking with like for now. I mean, I ideally I would only do stop motion. I don't have anything against CG. Just stop motion I really really like. But I do think that with modern technology, having digital skills is a really really important thing. Staying competitive, learning new skills, having an open mind. And I think that a lot of anything that I do learn in computer generated animation, I could apply in some way or another to my stop motion projects. I think it certainly wouldn't hurt to learn, especially now with like how sophisticated our editing softwares are. It could help with special effects. I mean, shoot, these like, oh my gosh, the stop motion films that come out nowadays are almost entirely filmed on a green screen. Almost everything. It's not like you need to have a giant studio with a giant set, giant backdrop anymore. Like even this project right now, have a character filmed on a blue screen, and I'm just going to composite in these backdrops that I'm going to photograph. Thanks for the offer, Inkspot. Let's see. Yeah, I'm sculpting a little drawer right now. It should be fine. I just want to populate this backdrop a bit, have a few props. I think I'll maybe use different colors for the knobs. Oh, I have some right here. This should work. I'll make a little couch. This is so funny. It feels like I'm doing Beavis and Butthead again. Yeah, Inkspot. Will Vinton was a very, very influential animator to me. His art style. I mean, I'm working with the same material. I actually know an animator that studied with him. He makes his own brand of clay, his own formula of clay. I actually have some here on this desk right now. But yeah, I was absolutely devastated when he passed away in 2018. I'll never forget that. I was so devastated. There was this magnificent documentary about him. Clay Dream. I didn't hear about it when it was in the Kickstarter phase. But I've seen that documentary like 10 times. It's so good. Oh yeah, you mentioned it. Yeah. Yeah, The Adventures of Mark Twain. I saw that for the first time when I was, it was around the time I got into claymation, clay animation, doing my own projects. It was right before I made Clay Kremling in the Tomato Patch. I vividly remember. I must have been like 14, maybe 15 when I saw it. And it was just, oh, that movie is like so ahead of its time. Even today, it's like it's a widely misunderstood film. It's a very tragic film because the ingenuity on display in that movie is, I mean, it's as good as you can get. Absolutely magnificent. But I still believe that film just hasn't properly found its audience. It didn't do well when it came out, and it never developed the cult following that I think that it really could have. And I really do think that it's still widely very misunderstood, even by like a lot of animation channels. Like, I remember there were channels talking about how like it was an inappropriate kids movie, or like it's got, oh my God, there's death in it. They talk about death. I think it's a dark film. It's so beautiful, and it's just pure magic. And yeah, it was one of those artsy, ambitious projects that just never, it was just a little bit too niche, that it just never really found its audience, I think. Perhaps someday it will, but I don't think it has yet, which is damn shame. Yeah, like all the hubbub about the adventures of Mark Twain comes from that one freaking scene with the mysterious stranger, which is an amazing scene. It is so profoundly bleak, and it's very frightening. It's a very frightening scene. I've been around a couple people, not that that's a whole lot of data, but I've been around a couple people just seeing their reactions to that scene, like when watching the movie with them. And they're just like, their reaction has always been like, holy shit. It is a shame, though, that scene ends up overshadowing the entire movie, because the whole movie isn't just that. It's got a lot of wonder in it. It's got a lot of whimsy, and it explores themes that other kids' films really don't. I don't really think it's a kids' movie. I think it's a lot more for adults. But yeah, once again, I think especially at the time it released, it really just wasn't marketed correctly. They talk about this in the documentary, of course, but it just never really found its audience, which is, tragic. Maybe someday, but I love it found me, right? It found us. And we're here talking about it while I make clay stuff. Trying to think, I guess I'll make an easy chair next. Maybe I'll make a lamp. Also, I'm going to probably play around with the lighting in a bit. I just want to get these things made. Yeah, ink spot. So I know what you're talking about. They talked about it a bit in the documentary, but I found like an upload, like a whole YouTube video, like talking about that Frog Prince film. I think it would have been super, super cool to see like almost like a 90s Disney musical, a 90s animated musical done with clay animation. I think that would have been awesome. Yeah, that's the tough part about like clay animation was that I think Will Vinton, he did aspire to apply the clay animation to feature film, but it just never happened. He did make Adventures of Mark Twain, and that I think is an amazing film. But he couldn't follow up on it because once again, it just at the time, that film was just a little it didn't make the amount of work into that output, it just didn't make a lot of sense. And if they I guess if they wanted to do something that would have sold a bit better or would have been more of a success, they would have had to, I guess, maybe family friendlyify it, babyfy it, as I say. Yeah, they would have. So I do think that the angle of using the clay animation to make a Disney, like a 90s animated musical, that could have worked. But it's a shame that it just never came to fruition. I can only assume that at that point, the studio was really starting to struggle financially. Yeah, and what I liked about the documentary was they go over the financial struggles that the studio had and the projects that were so close to getting like greenlit or that were being worked on that just for one reason or another just didn't pan out. I like that they go over that. I wish that documentary was longer, but oh well, take what I can get. But yeah, it's no, I think like the behind the scenes stuff for that like Frog Prince clay animation adaptation, that looked like it could have been a lot of fun. Bright color clay animation musical, that could have been really cool. I mean, we haven't how many other like clay animation feature length musicals are there? I don't think that's ever been done. Not off the top of my head. I did try watching Gary and Mike and the PJs. I'm not going to give like a definitive review of it right here on stream because I've only seen like a very small amount of both of those shows. I just didn't really get hooked watching them. Also, the art style in those shows does not reflect. When I think of Will Vinton, I don't think of that animation or that art style. The foam, latex, the more robot chicken looking animation style, moral oral art style. When I think of Will Vinton, I think of like those bright, colorful, psychedelic animations that he was like making in like a basement, Those early films from the 80s, Rip Van Winkle, what was it? Christmas Gift, Dinosaurs. Huh, interesting. Yeah, it just you know, I I'm what I really loved about the documentary was that they like no one in when it comes to like modern talk of animation, people don't really talk about Will Vinton. And it's a shame because he was doing some really, really, really cool stuff. And yeah, it's like, and I think that the documentary did a good job at showing that he had a lot of influence in Prestige at the time. You know, winning the Oscar, trying to get what, like a theme park made, like trying to do the whole Walt Disney thing. Like, I didn't even know that he was trying to make a theme park, or that it was being developed, or that there were plans for it, uh, or that like he, was sitting in the car in the parade, and the FBI had to watch him. That was just crazy. Yeah, Inkspot. Yeah, logistically, it just made. I understand that it just made more sense for something like Gary and Mike or PJs to go that route. Definitely. Especially what for like, I mean, those shows were sitcoms, it's like I've heard that I think I've heard at least the PJs is good, but I need to finish both of those shows. Neither of those shows ran for very long. All right, let's see what that backdrop looks like. My reference image. My computer has been so warm lately because I've been doing so much on it, and now I'm running a stream. Approaching the 2 hour mark. Drop a like if you haven't. I hate begging for likes. Maybe I'll add some graphic on the screen sometime that just does it for me. I don't know what people usually use for running streams. I think I hear OBS is a pretty common software. I don't know why specifically. Like, I don't know how people like do the whole running graphics things and stuff, but I figure that for the time being, just showing my workstation and showing the animation software is good enough. Oh shoot. Yeah, yeah, um Inkspot, I don't know. I don't know what the ending of those shows are even like. I'm guessing that the ending for PJs is like, the show just stops. Like, I'm not expecting like a finale, but yeah, I wonder like at what stage of production those those shows, like the writers find out like, yep, this is not going to continue. And nowadays it's like stuff having a show run for several seasons, like more than 2 seasons, that's like, oh my god, is it's so competitive. It's like that barely ever happens. There's a lot of these like old cartoons that like got like over 10 seasons, like these old cartoon sitcoms, and are still running, Family Guy, South Park, uh, American Dad, uh, Bob's Burgers, but like how many new cartoons that come out even get like more than, it's very, very few that get more than like a couple seasons. I see like a lot of like not good stuff. And by not good, I mean garbage. Like stuff gets greenlit for additional seasons. Meanwhile, there's like some really amazing stuff that got canceled. The most I guess recent example from my experience would be the Dark Crystal show, Netflix series, but that's a whole different tangent. Oh. Oh, okay, distribution. I see. Yeah, I figure that like suppose I completed working on this Popeye project. Not saying that that's going to happen tonight, but like suppose I completed working on this Popeye project and I still had like another stream scheduled for the week. I could like just put the camera, like film myself working on a statuette. I've been looking for like just a good excuse to work on some figurines, some statuettes, some character designs. I think that could be a lot of fun. And you guys could pop on in, talk because I have so much polymer clay that needs to get used and has not been used. And I'm just like, oh man, I've got to use it. I don't want to give it away. I mean, I guess I could, but I don't know. I feel like it could be fun to just make them on stream. Yeah. Well, I'll try and do that sometime. Like, because working on a statue, like, it's no picnic. It does involve like some really boring things like messing around with the armature wire and just bulking out the statue with tinfoil. But once you start working on it, it's like, gosh, I'm trying to think the last one that I made because I used to make them all the time. But yeah, I just have all this clay sitting in my closet, and I'm like, shoot, maybe if people like see me working on something like this, a shot, which I've been setting up for like what, over an hour, then people would probably like watching me work on a statuette. I'm looking for more opportunities to just get back into sculpting, you know? That's one of the main things with like Brick Bob Films is because I'm working with the Legos so much, I like don't have to do any sculpting, which is like kind of sad because I like doing the sculpting with the clay. And it is fun using clay in an episode of Brick Bob Films and getting to show that contrast of like, yeah, I animate with toys, but I can also make this thing out of clay and make it move and make it interact with the toys on camera. I like showing both of those sides of my, I guess, skill set. That's nice. I've heard that the PJs is like pretty good, but I just need to give it a proper chance. From my experience, like getting into TV shows is not easy, at least for me. TV shows have a lot of they're burdened with a lot of exposition, particularly in the first season, and it takes a little bit for them to really get going. I But yeah, like even King of the Hill, which I absolutely adore, amazing show. When I first started watching King of the Hill, like I watched the first like I don't know, 2 or 3 seasons and I was like, yeah, this is good, but it's not amazing. Then I stopped watching, and I had to kind of come back to it and was like, eh, I'll I'll give this another shot. And then I ended up binging the entire thing. Like I could not stop watching it. Dylan, welcome back. Good to see you. Yeah, I love how they talk about how he created the M&M's characters using the new technology at the time. Yeah, the 3D animation. Yeah, Will Vinton, he really made a mark. He did some really awesome stuff. And I really do think it's a shame that he's not talked about more. I think it's because just like I don't know if you would like call it it certainly wasn't from a lack of talent. I guess it was really just kind of bad luck. I think it was just like a lot of the things that he worked on because he did so much commercial stuff, like a whole bunch of commercials. He worked with a lot of like really big personalities and brands. He really made an impact, but a lot of that impact benefited other companies. Like it benefited Eminem, it benefited Michael Jackson, it benefited California Raisins. It wasn't him, you know? Like it was him, but he didn't own any of those characters, you know? Yo, 2 hours. Give it up for 2 hours. Yeah, I remember him talking about that, the whole Pixar thing in the documentary. That's just it's just crazy, so crazy. Yeah, at the time, who I don't think anyone could have predicted what Pixar would do. The the sheer prowess of what Pixar, like the quality that they would put out. I don't exactly remember what year that was when that was going on, but wow. Yeah, that's pretty insane. I'm trying to think what else this could use. Maybe I'll have some stuff in the foreground. Okay, hold on. I need to get this. I have a lot of red clay on my hands. I gotta get this off. I might have to go to the bathroom and just wash it off because this is a lot. It's pretty thick. Oh gosh. Yeah, this is a good clay, but it really leaves a lot on your hands. Yeah, I feel like it could use something else. Yeah, even with Beavis and Butthead, I put like well, this was part of the original Beavis and Butthead room, but I put like a painting on the wall. Yeah, the thing with this clay is it will not stick to the paint, which is something that I have learned in previous projects. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. Well, first I want to see what this picture looks like. I might actually, before I do that, before I put anything on the wall, I think I might play around with the lighting a little bit. Yeah, that's the thing. So it's like even if working on an animation project like takes a little bit longer, I'm making content by doing this, the stream. I'm interacting with you guys. It's good. You guys are all coming in, you're participating, asking questions, starting conversation. Like, this, when else am I going to do this? Let's see here. First things first, I want to make sure that focus is good. This lens has like a crazy focus depth of field. Speaking of which, I think I might just turn up. Oh, is that ISO? Yeah, it's ISO. The shutter speed, I'm going to increase that. This will give me a better depth of field, or larger rather. Yeah. Just don't want it to look too confined. Granted, it's like not even properly leveled. That's the thing. Like, I don't need this to be in focus, honestly. I really don't. I might add like a blur effect in the background. Shoot, I might even take a picture now and just put it into Adobe Premiere and just see how it looks even before taking the final photo. It's just having, even if it looks really bad, it's still consistent. It's more consistent with the rest of the visuals than the 2D backdrop that I painted digitally. Like, I don't know if there's much variation I can even do with the lighting. If I want more shadows, I'll probably get more shadows though. That's kind of the whole point. Maybe I'll even like cut a hole in the cardboard, kind of like a doorway, sort of like, kind of like in the reference. Oh man, I think that would just add a lot more depth to the shot. I think it would. It's going to be a pain in the neck because I don't have my good cardboard cutting scissors here. They're at my other place. Shoot. Because like, let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. I'm going to show you. Let's take a look. Back up. Yeah, you see this? So this is kind of like the reference material. This is what I drew. This was a redraw of what was in the original animation. So you have this room back here, which is just, like it or not, is creating just more space. Right now, like even this, like just the 3 walls that we're looking at. How do I make this stop? Close window. Okay. Yeah, just not just having 3 walls, just like very static. It's just, it feels a little bit too confined. Yeah, we're going with your idea, Ink Spot. All right, this is This isn't going to be fun. So we're just going to wait. Hold on a second. Maybe I can. I have a pencil. Let's have a look. I'm trying to think what I could do. So we have this here. Perhaps if I cut the doorway up to here, like that. I think that should work. All right. It's a little bit difficult to access the desk right now because the camera's in the way. So you know what? I'm just going to get on the floor. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm not going to be able to see the chat for a little bit. So it's just like, here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to draw a little doorway. There we go. That should do it. I mean, we got plenty of cardboard, you know? Yeah, it does look like he's in Bikini Bottom. Oh boy. We're just gonna cut. Oh yeah. Gosh. I hate cutting cardboard. I had these good scissors at my other studio for cut through cardboard like nothing, but not these. No. Like, I'm trying to think how I could get this. Like, I don't think. Like, I don't think the clay is gonna stick to that. No way. No way will it. I'm just trying to think what I'm gonna do. Not even on both sides. Maybe I'll take some tape. This might work. Okay, wait, maybe this could work. So I remember for several projects, the main one being the Clay Fighter musical, what I did was I got a piece of cardboard and I knew that I was going to put clay all over it, just cover the thing in clay. But the clay would not stick. This clay will not stick to cardboard. So I covered the whole thing in packaging tape, and then the clay would stick just fine. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Let's see if I can. Yeah, Clay Fighter, I don't know what it is with Clay animation just not being able to catch a break. But yeah, Clay Fighter was like, that was another thing I would always like to see come back. Like seeing that come back with real clay animation, that would be so cool. But even then, like to be honest, granted, this could entirely depend on who's developing the game. But like, I feel like even if they did make a new Clay Fighter game, it probably wouldn't be done with actual claymation because I don't know how you're going to integrate that into a 3D environment. Now, if you're going to create 2D sprites, go for it. But if you like want to, I don't know, like have any of you guys heard of Skullgirls? That's a fighting game that has 2D sprites, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't played it a lot, but you know, I got the game because I just wanted to look at the art style. Really cool, you know, animation, different art style, not, you know, 3D models rendered in real time in Unreal. Like seeing what Skullgirls did with the 2D art style, 2D animation. I think if you wanted to do Clay Fighter like that, but with clay, like pictures of clay puppets, that could be really, really cool. But if you wanted to make a super modern fighting game, something that handles and looks more modern, you would probably have to render it in digital space. Like I remember there was like this Kirby game that came out when I was a kid, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse for Wii U. And it was clay animation, but it wasn't actually claymation. It was just in art style. And I remember I was so pissed. I was like, "Oh man, it looks like claymation, but it's not real. Like what's the point?" I felt betrayed. Yeah. That's a good idea in Inkspot. So, I mean, I'm not going to talk about this too much on stream because I don't know what's going on with this project, but I actually was recruited onto a spiritual successor to Clay Fighter a few years ago. But the project, I don't know what the current status on the project is. It looked really, really cool, but I have not heard any updates in a while. And I really just don't know what the status of the project is. I don't know if it's on hold, if it's in limbo, if something happened. I was just brought on as a possible animator because I'm an animator that specializes doing the clay. And this all happened before I made the Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut musical animation. It was that long ago. So, you know, over 2 years at this point. Clay is sticking on just fine now. Yeah, Geist Phoenix, we've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, for me as the streamer, it shows there's a little panel that shows how long the stream has been running. But for you guys, I don't know if it shows that for you guys or if you have to go back and it shows how long the stream has been running, but yeah, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, like Inkspot, that's like the thing. It's like the I love the stop motion, but I'm open and willing to learning other more modern industry standard conventional forms of animation, stuff that's, computer generated. Because I just like I want to learn like, what are people doing nowadays? Like I've seen what 3D animated movies can look like and they look great. Why wouldn't I want to know more about that? All right, now let's just see how this looks. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'll cut out like a wall to put in the back of this doorway. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so what I think I could do is I could put a wall back there, and I could like, wait, can we? Okay, yeah, so we can see my hand here goes up about that high. I could maybe even put this like bookcase in the back, just to add more depth, you know? I did not expect to be going for this long because, like, I mean, I have 2 other streams scheduled for this week, tomorrow and the day after. So, like, I don't even have to be going this long, but I'm just like, I don't know, I'm gonna be working on this anyway. Oh, yeah, look at that. This is such a weird lens, but I love it. You never know what you can get with it. Yeah, I could have like a little bedroom or something in the back, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. All right, so yeah, it's giving me some options here. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I'll probably keep trudging along tonight. Maybe I'll keep the stream going a little bit longer. I'm gonna eat something soon, but I'm kind of chilling so far. Yeah, so Inkspot, I actually do have Blender. I did get it because I heard that it was free, and I love how many online resources there are for just learning the program. So I'll have to check that out. I did tinker with it like, oh my gosh, over a year ago, and I like sculpted something in it, like a character head in it. It was actually looking pretty good. I didn't finish it, but I still have the file. But yeah, trying to find more ways to like do stuff with these skill sets, these hard skills, because who else is doing streams like this? If there's anyone else doing like stop motion live streams, like please let me know. I would love to know. Whenever I'm like trying to improve like the content that I do, I'll look at what other people are doing and seeing like, how's their presentation better? How's their setup better? Also, I think I'm going to take this down and I'll make this look more neat. But I think I'm going to paint a little wall that I can put back here. So wait, let's see where you know what? Maybe I'll just cut that off because this piece of cardboard is just completely, it's been through the ringer. I'm not going to keep it anyway. It is beat up. It is painted. So let's paint this. First I have to cut it again, but then I'm just going to paint it like a different color. Yeah, so like Inkspot, like so suppose there isn't, like, let's say for the sake of argument, like there isn't any channel that's like doing streams like this, working on stop motion. And it's like a lot of multitasking. As mentioned earlier, like I do like being able to get really laser focused on working on a project, but like making it a more collaborative experience and just taking animation into a new format, I think could be a really exciting prospect. Especially for something like Brick Bob Films, where I could animate a lot of those in my sleep. You know what I mean? Very familiar sets, a lot of very dialogue heavy. I think we could have a lot of fun live streaming Brick Bob Films. Okay, here we go. Now, I don't know anything about animatronics, but when I was like really young, like really, really young, like before I even learned what stop motion was, puppeteering was what I loved. And I then I discovered stop motion and I'm like, oh wow, this is like puppeteering, but without, the audience can't see my hands. Granted, I think they're two very completely different art forms. It's not that black and white, but puppeteering does look like a lot of fun. That's like that encompasses, I think puppeteering would really tap into a different part of your brain though. Like to be a puppeteer, you got to be a performer, like a really, I don't even know what you would call it, very special kind of performer. I don't even like, oh my gosh, Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, amazing Dark Crystal prequel series on Netflix. Like I'm watching the behind the scenes for that, and I'm just thinking like, man, these people, like, how do you get into it and then get to this level? Like, what must be going through your head when you probably started out making sock puppets and performing for your family members, and now you're working on something like Dark Crystal? I'm sure, there's a few steps in between, but like, I'm gonna shut my curtain. But like, oh my gosh, to be able to go to start out and then end up working on a project like that, like I am so just blown away by that show that I wonder what it must be like to work on it, even though I don't do puppeteering. Am I a YouTuber? I concur with Inkspot, sorta. I don't know. When people ask me what I do, I just say I'm an animator. It's like the term YouTuber, it's so up to interpretation, but like for me, when I hear the term YouTuber, hold on a second, I'm gonna get some paint. Where the fuck is some green? Where's my phone? Where is it? Maybe a darker green. Black. I can mix black into it. I wonder if there's anything left in here. Oh, I misunderstood. Oh, I didn't see you tag you. All right, time to paint. But anyway, I'm just gonna keep talking because I'm already on the subject. It's like I think I even watched a video on it recently. I can't remember what the title of it was. I just dropped the paint. Oh, it's okay. The cap kind of shut on the way down. Ugh. All right, there we go. Didn't get on my clothes. No biggie. So, yeah, I like saw a video recently. It was like nowadays, and this is something that I've experienced, definitely experienced in real life. Like, kids will say like, "Oh, I want to be a YouTuber when I grow up." And I'm like, I do media production. I got started on YouTube, making Lego animations for YouTube. I've taught classes, I've taught animation classes. So it's definitely come up in conversation like, "Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And kids will say like, "I want to be a YouTuber." And my response to that is, "Well, what does that mean? What do you watch?" Because when I was a little kid, I didn't want to be a YouTuber. I wanted to be an animator. That was what I wanted to be doing. But YouTube is so vast, and there's just saying like, "Oh, I want to be a YouTuber," that could be anything. I've spoken to parents where it's like, they'll come up and ask me for advice, saying like, "Oh, my my kid wants to be a YouTuber." And I ask, "Well, what does your kid watch?" Are they watching bad things on YouTube? Like, are they watching like, stuff about like science, stuff about art? Or are they watching, Mr. Beast? I don't even know what Mr. Beast does, really. Like when I was getting started on YouTube, like it was so different. The daddy of YouTube was PewDiePie. I don't hear anyone talk about PewDiePie much anymore. Granted, I never really kind of watched like PewDiePie or like Jacksepticeye, gamers pretty much, Let's Players. I did watch some Let's Players, but not those guys. But it's like, yeah, it's really it's not so much like what do you want to be? It's like what do you want to do when you're older? Do you want to, sit in a chair and play video games all day? Get paid to do that? Maybe you do. Personally, I don't. And also, I gotta say right now that like, I don't care what you do for a living, even if you do play video games as a career, at some point or another, it's going to feel like work. That's how I think of it. It does not matter if you hit the jackpot and you can make like a career playing, scary games on YouTube or doing Let's Plays. At some point or another, it is going to feel like work. So I try and find like a healthy like middle ground. Yeah, we don't have to get into Mr. Beast. I just like brought him up as like an example because like he's like the king of YouTube now, apparently. At least in terms of like subscriber count or something like that. But yeah, I've never seen one of his videos. I just hear about him. But yeah, no, I remember Fred. Oh gosh, I loved Fred when I was a kid. people talk about how annoying he is, and you know what? You were very well probably right, but oh man, it was just like that was like quintessential 2009 YouTube. When I was a kid, I would watch, me and my sister would watch the Gummy Bear song. You know, the Gummy Bear music video. We would watch it like it was uploaded in different languages and people would make weird edits of it. Like Gummy Bear slowed down, Gummy Bear sped up, Gummy Bear scary. Like they would add a negative filter to the footage. Oh my gosh. And I loved it. But nowadays, I can't get even 5 seconds into the Gummy Bear song without putting my hands on my ears. It is like, oh my gosh. The Gummy Bear song is like, that's like probably the closest thing that you could get to nails on a chalkboard other than literally scratching your nails on a chalkboard. Oh my God. I'll make this wall like green or something. I kind of regret doing the black, not gonna lie. The black is just muting out the green a lot. But oh well, what can you do? At least this stuff, you know, it's acrylic. Acrylic is very forgiving because it does not matter what you put down on the canvas, or in this case, cardboard. You can just paint over it. You're fine. Another one was that, what was it, Crazy Frog? Crazy Frog was like very disturbing. Like, because the music was super goofy and, you know, it was a silly frog like causing mischief and stuff like that. But I was found it very peculiar that like Crazy Frog had like genitals. I don't even know if I could say that on YouTube. But yeah, like Crazy Frog's like jumping around and he's got like genitals. Does anyone remember that? I even like went back to the Gummy Bear, not freaking Gummy Bear, the other Gummy Bear, Crazy Frog. I went back to like watch the video within the like past year, and they blurred it out. They did some kind of crazy editing that just like, they got rid of the genitals on Crazy Frog. And I don't even know how they did it. Like, can you even do that in YouTube's editing thing? Because you can do like, you know, minor edits on YouTube, very, very rudimentary. It's kind of like a last resort type thing. But like, I'm just like, I was looking at it. I'm like, how did they even do this? Did like YouTube contact the Crazy Frog people and were like, yo, we gotta get rid of this. We'll edit it for you. It's so bizarre. Where's the remote? Hold on a second. I have a little, is it in here? Yeah. One of my freaking lights, one of my sunset lamps. You operate it using a remote. It's a little annoying, but it's not too bad. Like, I'm just trying to see if we can like cast like some color into the back over here. But this big diffuser lamp is probably muting it out. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so for Crazy Frog, I remember that people would make remixes with that song. Oh my gosh, there's this video that I loved. Someone like took the SpongeBob episode Employee of the Month and they made an edit of it using the Crazy Frog song, and I'll just like never forget. Like that was one of the episodes of SpongeBob that I didn't have on VHS when I was a kid. So the first time that I properly watched that episode, it was on YouTube with the Crazy Frog music. So then when I watched the actual episode, I was like, oh, this isn't as good without the Crazy Frog music. Oh my God, it's so goofy. I vividly remember watching the clips from that episode and like SpongeBob, like someone made an edit of SpongeBob. He like flips just really hard. He flips up one more Krabby Patty and then the Krusty Krab just fills up. Mr. Krabs is like pinned against a wall and it just explodes, the Krusty Krab. Oh, I wish I could find that video. Yeah, there was another like ringtone-esque song that was popular on YouTube. I do not know what it was called. Do not know. Yeah, like someone made an edit for it with the footage from the Super Mario World TV show. So, gosh. Yeah, it was so different. Oh man, maybe I'll ask this in a. I'm thinking about like old SpongeBob edits that I saw on YouTube as a kid. Now, I think I'm gonna wait for that paint to dry so I can add a lighter coat of some other color onto it because it's not really catching the light enough. Also, we are approaching the 3-hour mark, so I think I'm going to call it in a few minutes because it's like, we're going to stream tomorrow anyway. So I'm going to be back. I'm going to be in the studio. I'm going to be getting stuff done. Going to be putting work on this project this week. Trying to get it done this month. I just have to lock in. Yeah, Sweetie Chick I never watched. Or Rabbit ringtone song? I don't know about that. I did have a ringtone of Do a Barrel Roll, like a remix from Star Fox. I actually had it as an alarm on my phone. And it was like, I remember sometimes when I was a kid, I would not make it loud enough like to wake me up. So I would have like bad dreams where I was like trapped somewhere where I just perpetually heard the remix song of Peppy saying do a barrel roll. And I'm like running through halls, like trying to figure out where on earth that sound is coming from, how to make it stop. And I wake up, I'm like, oh gosh, it's this freaking alarm, and my sister's yelling at me. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. Anyway, I we're about to approach 3 hours, so I'm going to call this stream here. But don't go anywhere. I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back tomorrow and the day after, just cramming on this project. I really do think that the worst part is over for this project, like all the really hard stuff. A lot of the stuff that we're doing now is just like backgrounds, just compositing stuff in, and where, I'll be around. So don't go anywhere. Don't stay away for too long. I'll be back. Thank you guys for joining so much. Be back soon. It was great talking with you guys, and you'll be hearing from me very soon. Have a good night.